Hey everyone, Jennifer Kathleen here, and welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about something that I think people need to hear more about, especially in our society today. And this can deal with people who have ADHD and people who don't have ADHD, and that is emotional regulation. So I'm not going to talk about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything's fine when it's absolutely not. I'm talking about real practical tools that you can use when your emotions feel overwhelming and that like when you need to find your way back to center. I've been dealing myself with a lot of emotional issues. I'm going through a very tough transition right now in my own life. And I've had to really step back and master emotional regulation for myself. I do also recommend therapy. I do go to therapy regularly, but you still need these tools in your toolbox to be able to live the best version of you and your most successful life in general. So maybe someone said something to you, right, that triggered you. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety like me right now that just seemingly won't quit. Or maybe you're just having one of those days where everything feels like it's like way too much, or two or three, right? We've just came out of the holidays. So, it is a crazy, it's kind of like you get a dopamine rush and you also can fall off from that. Let's talk about what's actually happening though in the moments and what you can actually do about it. Okay. What is emotional regulation though? So what is the definition of emotional regulation? Basically, it's your ability to manage and respond to your emotional experiences in a healthy way. And when you're emotionally regulated, you can feel without being completely taken over by your emotions. So you're in the driver's seat when you are emotionally regulated. But when you're dysregulated, that's when emotions are running the show. They're running you instead of you running the show. Okay, you're not in the driver's seat anymore. Your heart's racing, your thoughts are spiraling. You're in fight or flight a lot of times, so you can't make a rational decision. You might feel like you're going to explode or just shut down completely. And the thing is, it's not a character flaw. I used to actually think it was like I was just messed up and there's just something wrong with me and I'm just totally completely messed up. No, it's your nervous system doing what it thinks it needs to protect you. That's what that is. So when you get triggered or overwhelmed, it's our brain's alarm system. It's the amygdala actually basically hijacking our prefrontal cortex, and which is part of the part of us that helps us clearly think and make good decisions. So we can't make any decisions, honestly, or we make very, very poor decisions when we're in this state. And so it's like your brain is saying, there's a threat, we don't have time to think, so we just need to react now. We just need to just boom, right? And so even if the threat is just a difficult conversation or a stressful email, that's kind of what I've been going through. The good news is, though, you can learn to work with your nervous system instead of fighting against it. And that's what these tools are all about that I've been taught and I want to teach today. So we want to look at our body first. So the body first approach is what I call it. This is something that changed the game for me. You can't think your way out of emotional overwhelm. That's the first thing. You cannot think your way out of emotional overwhelm. Okay? So just don't try to. I used to try to logistically make myself calm, and it just never worked. That's because when you're in a heightened state of emotions, your thinking brain is completely offline. It's completely like checked out. You have to go through the body first, okay? So let's start with the tools that work with your physiology. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the physiological sigh. This one's backed by neuroscience, and it's actually, I think it was a research project from Stanford, if I remember correctly. You can fact check me on that. But you take 2 quick inhales through your nose, okay, and then you slowly exhale through your mouth. I like to say maybe inhale like 6 seconds, hold the breath for 9, and exhale for 12. And so it looks like this. You breathe in, and then breathe in again, and then you let it out really slowly. You do this like 3 times. Like I said, you can do it like that, or you can do the breathe in for 6, hold for 9, and then for 12. Okay. You can do either one, but it's 3 times, and it actually activates your parasympathetic, if I said it correctly, nervous system, which is your body's natural calming mechanism. Okay. So it's fast, effective. You can literally do it anywhere. Obviously it's free, right? It's the most effective and it's free. That's what we love. So cold exposure. Now I know this sounds kind of weird, but when you're really activated, something, you basically need a pattern interrupt. Okay. And so splashing cold water on your face or holding an ice cube, even, dunking. I mean, if you want to go to the extremes, you could dunk your head in a bowl of like cold water for a few seconds. This triggers what's called the dive reflex. And what this shows is that it actually slows down your heart rate. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system. And this is what we want, right? So cold exposure is a great way. Cold exposure is also good for fat burning too. And this is why the people in Russia over there, they run in their Speedos, they get cold acclimated, and they're just slender people. Because they go out and the ice, and especially on your back of your neck, it like activates brown fat cells, and that's your good fat, and it kills down white fat cells. So something else to look into. I've never really been able to just consistently do ice baths or anything like that, but I think I'm gonna do a New Year's resolution this year to do it. So movement. So when you're flooded with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, your body needs to move that energy through you. And so go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, shake your body out, just shake, put on a song and you can dance, right? It sounds really simple, but moving your body actually helps complete that stress cycle. So the section 3 is grounding techniques. So this helps bring you back to the present moment when your mind is racing into the future or you're stuck in the past. Okay. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Now this is a sensory awareness exercise. You're going to name 5 things you can see. I talked about this in another video. 4 things you can smell. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. Sorry, touch. I meant 4 things. Let me repeat that. Sorry, I screwed up. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This forces your brain to focus on the present moment instead of whatever it's spinning about. Okay. So it's like giving your mind a specific job to do. So the second one is going to be your feet on the floor. So you literally press your feet firmly into the ground and notice the sensation. Feel the contact, the pressure, the support. If you're sitting, notice your body in the chair. This sounds almost too basic, but it actually works to bring awareness back into your physical body and the here and the now, okay? The stop technique. When you notice you're getting overwhelmed, literally say to yourself, stop. Take a breath. Observe what is happening in your body and your thoughts, and do not judge yourself. Then proceed with intention. It creates a little pause between stimulus and response, which is where your power lives, okay? So now we're going to move on to cognitive tools. Once you've used some of the base research from Dr. Dan Siegel, sorry, I take it back, sorry. This is based off of the research from Dr. Dan Siegel. So simply labeling what you're feeling actually reduces the activation in your amygdala. So instead of saying, I'm freaking out, try saying, I'm feeling anxiety, I'm experiencing anger. It sounds more simple, but naming the emotion with specificity, I can't say the word, specificity, helps your brain process it differently, okay? So zooming out. So when you're in the thick of it, everything feels huge and permanent and like this is going to be forever. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? In 1 year, in next month, sometimes even next week, right? This isn't about minimizing your feelings. It's about getting perspective so that the emotion doesn't eclipse everything else in your life, okay? The observer stance. Try noticing your thoughts or feelings as if you're curious, as like almost like an observer, rather than being fused with them, okay? Kind of like from the outside in. You're looking from the outside in. Instead of I am anxious, try I'm noticing anxiety showing up. It creates a little bit of a distance, which creates the space for choice, okay? Now, longer term regulation strategies. These tools I just shared are great for the in moment like management of your stress and your emotional regulation. But if you want to build your emotional regulation capacity over time, here's some things that are going to make a bigger difference. Okay, so sleep and nutrition and movement. I know for a fact that when I do not get good sleep, especially for a long period of time, those are the only times I ever start to get sick. If I get good sleep, I never ever get sick. I never have, I have such better emotions, such clearer, better emotions when I get a good night's rest, okay? You've heard it before. There's a reason everyone talks about this. When you're sleep deprived, hungry, or sedentary, your window of tolerance for stress shrinks dramatically. And you're basically running a shorter fuse. So taking care of your physical health is emotional regulation work. You have to put that at the top priority of everything. And now, as we get older, we don't need as much sleep. I think I need about 7.5 hours a night to feel pretty good. But the next person may need, 8, 9, 10 hours even. So you need to figure out like how long you need to sleep and then reverse engineer that. So I know that I need about 7 to 7.5 hours. So how did I figure that out? Well, what I did was I allowed myself on the weekend to sleep in however long I needed to. And then I would wake up and I would calculate how many hours that was. And it was about 7 hours. So you also don't want to sleep too much. That can also cause depression. So sleep, nutrition, and movement. And then building your awareness. Okay, so start noticing your patterns. Start really, really noticing what throws you off and where are the places that you're the most calm. With the situation I'm going through now, it involves another person in my life. And what I have noticed is I'm far more emotionally regulated when I'm actually not at home and when I'm traveling actually. And so you want to see what situations trigger you. What are your early warning signs that you're getting dysregulated? For me, like I notice my chest gets tight and my thoughts speed up and I feel like I can't like make any decision. I feel like almost like a vibrating like jiggle, jello, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting anywhere. When you know your patterns, you can intervene earlier before you are like completely flooded and completely paralyzed. Okay. So practice when you're calm. So you don't want to wait until you're in crisis, obviously. You want to practice the physiological sigh when you're feeling okay. Okay? Use grounding techniques when you're already grounded. The way, if you do that, it's going to build muscle memory, right? So self-compassion. This might be actually the most important one. I used to be the biggest condemnation. Like I used to be super condemnational of myself. And, therapy has helped me, the healing code, knowing who I am, like what my spiritual beliefs are now. They've changed dramatically over the years. Knowing that God is a good God, that he forgives and he loves his entire creation, not just a few. For me, it's helped me realize like that I deserve self-compassion. I deserve mercy, love, grace, all these things. So when you're struggling emotionally, it's the last thing, or the last thing you want to be doing is beating yourself up. I mean, so talk to yourself like you're a good friend that's having a hard time. This is really difficult right now. It makes sense that I'm struggling. What do I need to do to help myself through this? Right? Look, emotional regulation isn't about never feeling bad and always staying calm. That's not what we're talking about here. It's about developing skills to ride the waves of your emotions instead of being swept away by them and having them completely wreck your life and your relationships because you're out of control. Okay? It's about having those tools in your toolkit so that you're not at the mercy of every feeling that shows up. I also use the healing code regularly. I have another video, I believe. Let let me see if I can link it, but it shows how to do a healing code by Dr. Alex Lloyd that has been life-changing for me, and it does work. They've done double-blind studies on it with heart rate variability tests, which is the most accurate test for that. So hold on one second. I want to just check something. Okay, sorry about that. So this stuff takes practice, though. You're not going to just try the healing code for one time or the physiological sigh and then suddenly be like a Zen master. That's not what's going to happen. But over time, as you practice these tools, you will notice that you can handle more. Your window of tolerance is going to expand, and things that used to completely derail you are going to become more manageable. And so if you're watching this because you're struggling right now, I want you to know that you are not broken. And there is hope, even if you're like in the worst state. I was actually like this about 5 days ago. I was in a very, very poor state, and I thought the anxiety was just not going to go away. And I just continued to work through it, and sure enough, it broke off. You're just having a human experience. This is the human experience. And the fact that you're here, you're looking for tools to help you, that's already a powerful step. So if you found this helpful, let me know. Also, I want to mention in the comment section or the intro section, there is a link for my hypnosis download bundle. It's only $35. It's 3 really, really awesome hypnosis downloads. And these are not just like any average hypnosis. These have neuro-linguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, subconscious reprogramming, NLP, I mentioned NLP already, binaural beats. And so they're only about 14 minutes long, so you can listen to them over and over again to reprogram your subconscious, but they're very effective. And I spent a pretty penny to have them developed, and I'm a huge believer in hypnosis done correctly. So those will be in the comment section, or not the comment, but the information section. If you guys want to pick those up, they could be really helpful to you. And I will see you in the next video, and you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.